The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity by Catherine Ponder. Introduction. There's gold dust in the air for you. This book is the result of several recent recessions and many years of lean living. Nobody likes recessions and nobody likes lean living, and indeed nobody should like them. For 15 years I tried to find such a book as this one. During those years of searching the bookshelves, I found that there are many books which give various success ideas, but in none of them did I find a set of compact, simple laws for assuring success. I began searching for a book such as this after having been widowed and left with a small son to rear and educate. Since I had no training for work and no means of income, I would have given anything to have known then about the power of prosperous thinking. For a while, I experienced depression, ill health, loneliness, financial lack, and a sense of complete failure. It seemed that the whole world was against me and that everything I did was wrong. But with my son to provide for, I could not settle for failure. I had to succeed for his sake as well as for my own. Finally, when I was at my lowest ebb emotionally, physically, and financially, I learned about the power of thought as an instrument for success or failure. I came to realize that failure is basically the result of failure thinking. I learned that the right use of my mind could become the key to healthy, happy, prosperous, successful living. As soon as I grasped this wonderful success secret, the tide began to change. The birth of prosperous thinking. You've heard much in recent years about positive thinking. Out of the recessions and lean years, another term has been born, prosperous thinking. The word prosper means to flourish, succeed, thrive, to experience favorable results. You are prosperous to the degree that you are experiencing peace, health, and plenty in your world. While prosperous thinking means many things to people, basically it gives you the power to make your dreams come true, whether those dreams are concerned with better health, increased financial success, a happier personal life, more education and travel, or a deeper spiritual life. This book plainly shows how prosperous thinking has helped people in every walk of life to experience these results. Furthermore, it shows you how prosperous thinking can do things for you too. As you read this book, chapter by chapter, you will automatically begin to develop the power of prosperous thinking, and almost as easily, you will begin to reap a harvest of prosperous results. The Salesman with the Golden Touch. Years ago, a salesman used the power of prosperous thinking, although he may not have consciously have been aware of it. When people have asked him, "How's business?" he always gave this standard answer: "Business is wonderful because there's gold dust in the air." For him, it certainly seemed to be so. Every contact became a sale. After a while, whenever his name was mentioned, people always said, "Yes, everything he touches turns to gold." The Laws of Prosperity. During my first year in the ministry, one of the most severe business recessions since World War II hit this country. Members of my congregation began asking for lectures on ways to survive this difficult period. It was then that these dynamic laws of prosperity began to take form, and with breathtaking rapidity, these ideas worked for all types of people. How the laws have worked for others. For instance, within a week after the first lecture, 2 secretaries had received raises in pay, one with a promotion and new title. A stockbroker soon reported that he had more business than he had dared hope for, although most of his fellow workers were comparatively idle. One client, whom he had not seen for several years, handed him a check to invest for $200,000. A month after beginning to deliberately invoke prosperous thinking, his income was 4 times its usual amount. A lawyer who had several industrial clients then on strike or out of work reported that the recession was suddenly over for him. His income zoomed upward into the 2,000 a month bracket, which at the time seemed a great increase, though later, after he established a definite pattern of prosperous thinking, it seemed only normal. A steel manufacturer's agent whose business was affected by the recession reported that he unexpectedly received an order amounting to $4,500, which he had not solicited. One woman was a sales lady in a department store which employed more than 100 people. All of her fellow workers had been thinking and talking hard times. At the end of the month, after this woman began to deliberately think prosperously out for more than 100 employees, she was the only one in the store who received a commission check for having oversold her quota for the month. The other employees had decreed hard times and had gotten such results for themselves. The owner of an electrical business had an outstanding account of $750 owing his company. As he began to think of those owing him as prosperous, the account was quietly paid. A jeweler had an indebtedness owing him, which he tried every means he knew to collect, including the use of unkind letters, all to no avail. When he, too, decided to think in prosperous terms about himself and the one owing him, to his amazement, the creditor quickly paid up. One family that desired freedom from indebtedness suddenly inherited a nice sum of money. A government employee received a raise in pay that had been pending in Congress for several years. A telephone company employee also received a generous raise that had been promised months earlier. A construction engineer received a new assignment to a $15.5 million construction job after having served on a $1.5 million construction job. One couple even received an all-expense trip abroad. These are but a few examples of the power of prosperous thinking. Prosperity brings new look and new health. But more than financial returns appeared. As I weekly lectured on prosperous thinking, I began to realize that the people in attendance were beginning to blossom forth with a new look, a look of inner peace, poise, happiness, security, and stability not previously apparent. The failure look of depression and discouragement was replaced with the look of success, self-confidence, and inner happiness. The look of defeat was replaced with a look of dominion, authority, victory. It was wonderful to behold. New mental and physical health appeared for a number of people too. One businessman had been told most of his life that he had a serious heart condition and that would have to be pampered constantly. And he began to apply the power of prosperous thinking in every phase of his world. He relaxed more and more and more in mind and body. Tension, both conscious and unconscious, gradually eased. After a time, his doctor stated that his earlier heart trouble had vanished. Now, several years later, he remains healthier and happier than ever before. Several people with nervous conditions found new health, serenity, and peace of mind. A housewife in this group had for years visited a series of doctors who could find nothing organically wrong with her. As she began deliberately to practice prosperous thinking, she began to think more lovingly of others, including her husband. Her new attitude of appreciation gave him a feeling of approval he had not had from his wife in many a year. This, in turn, added to his self-confidence and was reflected as new success in his work. His new job success brought a happiness and satisfaction to their marriage that had long been missing. This woman's health improved so much that she appeared years younger, and her aches and pains faded as happiness came into the various departments of her life. Your whole outlook changes. A lonely, unhappy businesswoman who had often threatened suicide became so intensely interested in the laws of prosperity that she found interest outside herself. This led to a happier, more balanced life. The suicide talk stopped. A housewife and also a businessman whose secret drinking had become serious problems found new hope in their practice of prosperous thinking. They began to realize that their drinking problems could be overcome. As they gained this victorious expectation, they were able to begin resolving and dissolving inner hostilities and conflicts. Their drinking gradually diminished. Several marriages were saved after one or another of the marriage partners began to invoke these laws of prosperity. One person's divorced partner returned and they were remarried. Several lonely unmarried people were happily married, one after having been widowed for 20 years. A businessman who had always detested his work found, as he began using these ideas, that he got a whole new perspective on his job, and in due time he no longer disliked it. The salesman was right. That salesman was right. There is gold dust in the air for you, for me, for everyone. The economists know this because they declare that we have now entered one of the richest eras the world has ever known, which they are describing as the golden 60s. The scientists know that there's gold dust in the air because they declare this universe to be composed of nothing but radiant substance or ether to which man has unlimited access. Psychologists and metaphysicians know about the gold dust. They declare that man forms his world from the rich, unlimited substance within him and around him through his thoughts, emotions, words, and actions. And so let us proceed in confidence, knowing that there is gold dust in the air and that there is gold dust everywhere. As you begin reading this book, no matter what the conditions of your life may be now, do so in this attitude of mind. There is gold dust in the air for me. Through definite, deliberate, prosperous thinking, I now begin assimilating that gold dust. And even now, I am beginning to experience gold dust results. Now proceed quickly to the following pages where you will learn the exciting gold dust secrets of countless others. Catherine Ponder.